Hey, here we
Hi,
are. Hey,
hi,
Internet.
hi, Margot.
Robin, girl, we made it. We all up in here on this wonderful, wonderful day, celebrating with the globe. How you feel about being a podcaster today?
Oh, I am just so, when I think about my journey and where I started, I just feel so good and I'm grateful to God in his way of allowing me to grow and learn. And so I'm feeling a whole lot more comfortable than I did 2 years ago. And happy
Join
Podcasters Day, by the way.
Thank you. We're the same way. We had a chat up before we even came on about technical problems. I don't know what's going on, but I'm freezing up, and then you got some background noise. But we decided, as the pros that we are going to go ahead and just keep going. So I'm Margot Levette, and I'm here with Robin Tillotson. And ladies and gentlemen, you know why we are here because of International Podcast Day. And we're both colleagues, we're both members of Women of Color, that fabulous group that Desiree has started. And Robin posted something, maybe it was last month, Robin, introducing yourself. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Well, I saw that post and I love the fact that you work with women of color and women over 50. And I said, well, let me reach out to this lady. So we had a good old conversation. I really want to celebrate and make sure that women over 50 see
That's
us
right.
podcasting, hear us, see how bodacious we are,
Yes, indeed.
how much grit we have. So I thank you for joining me today. I
Oh,
really,
thank
really
you for
appreciate it.
having me. Thank you.
Well, you are an activist for joy. Excuse me. And let me introduce you as a woman who says, I do for me. That's the name. That's this I do for me. And that's a part of your travel. I mean, you get travel ready for women over age 50. We don't have to sit at home and say, I don't have anybody to go to Africa or Greece or Spain. You get folks together and we pack up and go.
That's right. So the business, Margot, is twofold. This I do for me is the travel and culture side of the business. So uh, we have been on every continent except Antarctica.
Wow.
And the goal of it is to give older women, 50 plus, an opportunity to get away from their day to day tasks, requirements, obligations. And I decided to start the business because I was noticing that older women were taking care of and doing for everyone else but themselves. So I created this whole opportunity or platform for women 50 plus to travel, and we have had some wonderful experiences. We've been to Vietnam, Spain, Greece, Bangkok. We've been to Iceland. We've
Nice.
been to Colombia. I could go on France, Spain. I could go on and on. And then the second half or the other side of the business is the actual podcast. And the podcast is this I do for me, but it has a tagline. And the tagline is Women Over 50, Black and Fabulous.
Yes.
So the aim of that podcast is to make known to the world the phenomenal things that African American women are doing at age 50 plus. We have women who are still working, but we have lots of women who are using this opportunity as an encore to navigate through the second half of their lives. So many of them are writing books for the first time. I had a guest recently who is currently age 79, and she started her business at age 76.
Kudos.
So, when I say older women are doing it, they are doing it. And so the podcast is a platform to highlight African American women and the things that they're doing, and to educate the public about the things that they're doing. And it's a good networking tool for them. Many of them as a result of being on the podcast have garnered new business and other opportunities. So the business has the two sides to it.
I love it. Whichever side you want to work with, you are going to benefit working with Robin
Oh,
Tillotson.
thank you.
I love your podcast. I really, really do. And I love the fact that, we live in an age, and I've spoken with different podcasters globally. We still have this thing of if we can get the celebrities on, then we have arrived. If we have a million downloads, then we have arrived. So I'm glad that we don't have to we share the mirror the same idea that we don't have to be celebrities. We are celebrities in our own right, and it
That's right.
behooves us all not to compare ourselves. Let's just do what we do, show up in our fabulousness. Correct?
Yes, and I agree. I think the what I try to focus on is bringing good content to the audience. It's nice when you get several downloads, but I stay focused on the business of interviewing African American women who are doing these phenomenal things. And if multiple downloads come up as a result of that, I'm happy and I'm grateful. If it doesn't, I'm still happy and grateful because I have a core audience that is going to tune in. Even younger women are starting to tune in because they want that wisdom from older African American women. And so it's nice to have all that, outer stuff, but that's not what really motivates me.
Got you, got you. I feel this, I really feel the same way. And I don't allow other people to push me into the mindset of, well, if you don't have 50 or 60 downloads in 1 week for per episode, I say evaluate, but I don't let that mold me anymore. Early on, I did. I was driven by the numbers because we are a success oriented society. But the older we get, we have the right to define success for ourselves. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. And I think that really is the problem from the very get go. If we were coming into the world and raised in that belief that we are all here and sent here to do something specific and to express our individual beings and our talent, we wouldn't get caught up in that kind of thing. And the beautiful part, I think, once you hit 50, pretty much you're at the point now that it's like, well, I'm going to live life. I'm going to live life on my terms. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to not deviate from my obligations, but I am going to live my life. And that's the beautiful part, I think, when you hit 50 plus. You are now more confident. But now I would like to see, or I envision a world where children coming up, young girls coming up, born into the world, are born into that mindset from the very beginning.
Yeah. It takes a lot of stress and pressure off of them. And when you are up under that gun, it really stifles what you could be about. What would speak to you can't speak because it has to try to walk over all of those other
That's right.
expectations. And we get so fearful. We get so fearful about what somebody else thinks, or she said this, or she don't like me, or they didn't give me a good review. We get stuck on so many things
Yes,
that
we
don't
do.
matter. You know,
We do. We do.
Robin, I had COVID top of the year, and I'm not used to being sick. I'm not used to having fever and having to take a whole lot of medicine and all that stuff. Thank God I didn't have to go to the hospital. The doctor kept saying, do what you have to do to keep it out of your lungs, because if it gets in your lungs, then that's the next step. And, it could be a very bad thing going on here. And I think about all of the women that, in particular, that died and never had a chance, or never had someone push them or motivate them or admonish them to do those things that bring you joy. If you're good at it, fine. If you suck, Who cares? What are your thoughts,
Exactly.
lady?
Well, I think it's really important. One of the things that we can say about COVID, let me put it this way, is that it caused us to really think and to really reevaluate what's important, because we had plenty of time to do that. And as a result of it, I have seen a number of people, men and women, have started, they've shedded the lifestyle that brought them no joy. And they are now working toward creating a life. They feel like life is short. They feel like there are no promises. Tomorrow isn't promised for a lot of people. That's the mindset for a lot of people. And so as a result, they want to begin living and living on their terms.
Got you. Oh, I feel that all around me, young and old. Now that this other variant is taking out so many folks under 50, people are living and doing their utmost. I just have one final question. I am having such a good time here with you,
I am
Robin.
enjoying it as well.
What are your thoughts? You are an entrepreneur who also is a podcaster. I've been telling people if you are an entrepreneur, you better learn how to podcast and put those two together. What say you to that, madam?
Well, I think that you need to do an assessment of what your skills and talents and gifts are. And, we could say that you need a podcast to complement whatever else you're doing. But if you don't feel comfortable podcasting, maybe that's not the road for you. But there are training programs. I mean, you know that you train multiple women in how to podcast. So a lot of times when we do say, oh, that's not for me, it could be steeped in fear. So once you do some examination as to whether it's coming from a place of fear or just a place of unfamiliarity, then you can make a decision about what is the best route for you.
Yeah. Be ready to come away from that comfort zone because, man,
Yes.
the other thing that we've all found is that work is not the way it used to be. Nothing is the way it used to be. And there's no use in hanging around talking about
That's
the
right.
good old days. You can't even
They're
manage
gone.
people
They're
the way
gone.
you used to. If you think bringing folks back into the office so you can micromanage and crack the whip is going to work, you got another
Not
thing thinking.
not gonna happen.
So we
It's
all have
not.
to get out of the comfort zone and explore
Yes.
those things. Our next, would you say we all have a next that while we're employed, while we're doing what we love, let's
Mhm.
keep exploring that next. What do you
Yes.
say?
I tell you, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I am 62 years old and I feel like I am just starting to live. I mean, I feel like now my world is opening up in terms of things I've put off and things that I now can envision and foresee coming into fruition. I think it's really the time, particularly for older women, to recognize that it's not over and that you too can move forward in the things. If you always wanted to paint, then paint. If you always wanted to travel, travel. There's not too many things that you can't do that you may have wanted to do. There are a few, if you're 62, you're not going to have a baby. But the reality, the reality is, in terms of the other kinds of things that are out here for you to explore, if you've been putting them off, go ahead and do it. Now is the time. Now is the appointed time.
You know what? I love the fact that there are so many podcasts out there. If you're not familiar with something, just go on over to Apple or hey, go on over to heypodcasters.com.
Anchor.
Anchor, yes, and follow someone who's speaking concerning what your interest is all about. And if you listen long enough, then you're going to get a good idea about whether or not you want to take on that skill, or maybe I
Yes.
want to go to that country. So we really are in such a perfect time for all of us to
Yes.
explore and learn and give ourselves permission to do those things that scared us off or we couldn't afford to, we thought. Um, it's just the perfect time for us over 50 to be alive. It
It
really
it
is.
really is. It really is. And not to mention, we are perfect. We're placed in a perfect position to guide others coming behind us if they so choose. If that is something that they want, we have the knowledge, we have the skills, we have the vision and the know-how, and we're willing to share it for the
Yeah.
most part. And so, we have a purpose, and people really need to take advantage um, of what it is we have to offer.
Mm. I love the fact that you said you have younger women listening to your podcast for the wisdom.
Yes,
Dashanaba King, who is a resident of, I think she's a resident of Ghana now. She's an expatriate, and we had a conversation about wisdom and how we can't overstep it, how valuable it is. And once you latch on, I think, you know what, Robin, I think that's why Maya Angelou will never be forgotten. Toni Morrison will never be
that's
forgotten
right.
because of their footprint that's associated with knowledge. And us ladies of podcasting, we have the awesome opportunity to write books, come on and talk about books. We have the opportunity to bring on the authors who are leaving a awesome footprint as female podcasters with knowledge. We match that with other knowledge brokers. Man, the sky is the limit. What say you to that?
Yeah, and it's important to really take advantage of the wisdom while it's here. And I recently, just this past weekend, I interviewed a 37-year-old who is an avid listener of my podcast. And I really wanted to talk with her to get an idea of what draws her to the podcast. And again, it's that wisdom, learning from older women so that you don't make the same mistakes. And then we also recognize, too, that there's plenty for us to learn from younger women. So
Yes.
it's a natural dynamic. It's a natural relationship that exists, and so we just need to capitalize on it.
Let's sidestep what society tries to put on us and pit younger and older against each other with that. It's petty what comes out of some relationships, and let's capitalize on how we can enhance each other. Wow.
That's right.
Robin Tillotson, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you. I know that your podcast is on all of the major platforms, so just remind us, madam.
Actually, I'm only on Apple. I'm in the process of getting it onto some other platforms. So you can find me at This I Do For Me, Women Over 50, Black and Fabulous on the Apple platform, on Instagram at This I Do For Me, Twitter at The Nest Keeper, and Robin Tillotson on Facebook.
Wow. Okay. I love it. When folks are over there checking you out on Apple, be sure to take a good listen to her podcast and
Thank
go up,
you.
take the time to leave her a review. You know, hey, I'm just saying,
Thank you.
we
Thank
want
you.
those reviews because it's not that she's out looking for validation, but the lady's deserving of it. You have made my day,
Oh,
Robin.
thank you. Thank you so
Woo!
much. You've made mine as well. And happy Podcasters Day again.
Oh, you too, you too. So the day continues on all of September. I've been able to partner and collaborate with Womel. And over at heypodcasters.com, we are revealing other conversations. We've had conversations with podcasters all the week, all the month of September. So the next one coming up over there on heypodcasters.com is conversation with Taylor Ferber, and you know her because she has walked many a red carpet, many a Oscar party, and she has a fascinating podcast also. So let's all keep celebrating. And Robin, thank you, a million thank yous.
Well, thank you again, Margot.
No worries, no worries. Take care, and we'll see everybody later. Bye bye now.
Take care. Bye bye.